Hi everybody, this is Matthew Pose of Pose Acoustics, and I'm answering questions. So, Tino has asked me, he says, I'm currently wondering the following. Sigberg Audio has their Incognito subwoofer series, which are very shallow subs and able to be wall mountable. When wall mounted, the chassis faces the wall where it is mounted to, instead of pointing into the room. I guess that it is to somewhat combat the SBIR effects. Question. If this combats the SBIR effects, wouldn't this be generally ideal to let the subwoofers face their corresponding back wall? Do you see any caveats to this placement? If there is no real caveats, why aren't more loudspeaker manufacturers designing their subs like this? All right, Tino, thank you for asking that question. So here's what I would say about it. You are correct that placing the subwoofer closer to the wall like that removes some of the SBIR effects. It does not remove all of them. It would only remove the ones related to that specific wall. So the other boundaries in the room still cause SBIR effects. So in some cases, you could argue that it's solving a problem, but actually just moving the rest of the problem around. Now, is there issues with it? There is actually some issues with it. If the subwoofer is too close to the wall will load the subwoofer, which can change its performance. The other issue, that can be accounted for though. The other issue is that for very high excursion subwoofers, the woofer would hit the wall. So you would have to have enough space to prevent that. How much space? Well, you could be talking about having about 4 to 6 inches to avoid loading the woofer and having any chance of the woofer hitting the wall. As well as if it's too close and there's a lot of air movement, it's going to be like a port, and if it's too small, it's going to chuff. So you're going to get a lot of turbulence around that gap between the woofer and the wall. So that 6 inches, for instance, would give you enough headroom to probably avoid any chuffing. However, you would then run into a different problem, which is that the woofer is 6 inches from the wall. So if you're trying to keep things tight up against the wall to avoid having it take up too much space in the room, that can be a problem. Having said all of that, I actually think that it would not be a bad idea to have woofers either face the ground or the wall. There may be other reasons not to do it. Some people think that there's a difference in the sound quality. I would say this though, it actually should be reducing distortion because distortion is high in frequency relative to the fundamental. And the most audible distortion is probably going to be the higher frequency distortion of the subwoofer, higher frequency in the subwoofer bandwidth meaning. So if we talk about 80 hertz, second harmonic is 160 hertz, and then all the harmonics are going to be multiples above that. So if you take those frequencies and you start to look at those, you could see that things like carpet, for instance, if the woofer faces the ground, could absorb that more so and better than the fundamental 80 hertz. And so the harmonics become less audible. And I think that there's some benefit to that because there's quite a few harmonic and inharmonic noises that subwoofers make that when the subwoofer driver doesn't face you are less noticeable. Take a ported subwoofer and aim the port towards you versus away, and you tell me which one sounds better. I will be shocked if you feel that the port facing you sounds better because my experience has been time and time again that the port noises, especially when pushed towards the limits, are much less noticeable when the port is not facing you. So why don't more do it? More companies do it? I don't know. Maybe people like to see the woofers. There are some packaging reasons and there are some space reasons, but overall, there is something to be said for having the woofer potentially be facing a wall. I think there's something to be said for that being a design approach, I guess. Thanks for watching this video. I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe to my channel. And I got more coming. I got more videos on these types of topics. I appreciate these questions. This was a short and easy one. The only thing I'll just mention with that subwoofer is I have another client who has it. It's not a great subwoofer. It's a great subwoofer for what it is, but it's not a great subwoofer in absolute terms, meaning that the subwoofer just doesn't have a lot of output at low frequencies. It's a very low power amplifier. The limiter is set very low on that, meaning it really is long-term very, very low power. It's a very small enclosure. And so when that's what you have room for, it's great. Like I have no issue with it at all. But if you have room for something bigger, you are leaving like not like 1 or 2, like 6, 9 plus dB on the table with that subwoofer versus a more conventional design. So the idea of mounting it on the wall is great for like waveforming and art for that matter. It is placing the woofer towards the wall is great for for potentially reducing some SBIR effects, although they're not going to be that strong given how shallow that subwoofer is. Keep that in mind. But it's such a small enclosure with such a low excursion driver and such a low power amplifier that it's really best for more casual systems. I would not use it in a large high performance theater. So I hope that's helpful. Again, going back to the channel itself, please subscribe, please recommend to your friends, please like my videos, please comment, even if you want to disagree with me, it's fine. I'm happy to mix it up with you. I got more stuff coming for you guys to listen to.